KRXO-FM and KRXO-HD Oklahoma City, a service of Tyler Media, celebrating 60 years as Oklahoma's media company. Now, the big story of the day, powered by River Wind Casino on 107.7, The Franchise.
.1077 The Franchise, Jerry Ramsey, Daniel Bell. I mean, I don't need to be wasting time. I heard him yelling at you.
Okay, he didn't yell. He knows better.
On the Franchise hotline, superstar Joel Lorenzi. Remember, all our Thunder guests brought to you by Eagle Dental. Go see them to get your teeth fixed, according to Daniel Bell. Joel, how you doing?
I'm all right. Hey, Jerry, what you know about that intro song, though? G400. I like that.
Joel,
I like y'all. That's all I like coming on with y'all, man.
Joel. Listen, I know that you need to get to the facility so you can hog the microphone. There were some complaints about you last night. So we might not get into that. Huh?
That was on the low end of my number of questions that those availed last night. So that could have been complaints. I hope there wasn't complaints, but people need to get a reality check.
Listen, I'll start here. Okay. I was going to say there's some beef between you and I, but you might be right. Okay. So last night, me and Donnie were walking out and I'm doing my regular TV's Jerry thing where I'm just chummy with everybody. And you say something to the effect to Aubin Fippen, get your grandpa out of here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, those are beef words. Those are we can't do that. And then I thought to myself, damn, I am a grandpa. So I don't know if you know that. And that reminded me to go look at pictures of my grandson. And so in a way, thank you. It reminded me to go look at my grandson.
Yeah. Don't let me get in the way of your reality check.
Last night, let's get into it. I just want to hear kind of your summary of the meltdown. I don't know if you want to start with 7 minutes. I don't know if you want to start with 20 seconds. I don't know if you want to start with Chet's missed free throws. Like, where do you pinpoint the choke or meltdown?
I'd say, well, you're right in that there's so many places you could start. If I had to pick a place in the game, I'd probably there's two places. I think it starts in the third quarter, even though the Thunder get up to a double-digit lead in the middle of that fourth. So you could argue that they should have had the game then and there. But I think the ripple effects of the effort Denver had to win them the game started in the third quarter, especially the tail end of the third quarter, just some of the Christian Brown putbacks, the second effort stuff, some of the winning plays that, Denver didn't really have a ton of, at least comparatively to OKC in the first half. And then, the tail end of the third quarter comes around and they outscored the Thunder in the quarter, and then they outscored them in the fourth, and then there you have it, they win the game. So I'd say it started then, but really you got to look at the last 5 minutes. I mean, they're up 11 after Shai stepped back with 4:30-ish to go. And even that shot, it probably portended their offense stalling late, just in that, the amount of separation Shai needed, how far he had to step back, and even the contest that Christian Brown still got Denver's shell on that possession. Like, it took a lot for Shai to score that basket. And yet that was probably one of their better looks in the final 5 minutes. And you go through those possessions, there are threes that are funneled to guys that Denver's probably okay with. Chet shoots a flat one. He had a few of those last night. Dub with like a minute left, maybe less than a minute left, has a drive that's like really inexplicable. Like it had no chance of converting. So their offense just stalled in the last 5 minutes. I think that's really where you have to point to it.
You talked about this last night, but I mean, you can never overreact to a game one loss either way, whether you win, lose, get blown out, whatever. When it's like this, it's kind of glaring. Do you think this is more concerning for the Thunder? Do you think the Nuggets found something, or should it be the same rule, just never overreact to a game one?
I think it's fair to view this game one through a slightly different lens than the history of game one. I mean, the Thunder truly had no excuse to lose this game. I can't remember the shooting splits off the top of my head for them. I know at one point in the third quarter, after shooting terribly to start the game, they were shooting 40% from three. At one point, I don't imagine they finished that. I think it was less than that. But Denver shot like 51% at the rim. They shot like 31% from three. They came off 2 days rest where the Thunder kicked their feet up for 9 days. Like, there was really no reason to lose that game if you're the Thunder. Like, as far as game one go, like, that is like the bye game of playoff game one. Like, that was what you should have had, regardless of who was on the other side, based on the circumstances. And so, I think it's fair to view it through a different lens. And as far as what Denver got out of it, I think it just gave them maybe some much-needed confidence going into the series. And I think the way that, David Adelman was talking before the game was almost like he chalked it up like he had, not excuses, but he'd already told himself, like, what would be built into that game. And he got asked about rest versus rush, and he was like, yeah, rest is always better and more important. Like, he's not going to deny that. So I think that they had that sort of mindset coming into the game, like they were going to have to try to steal one maybe in game two, and they didn't have to. They got one in game one and came away with as demoralizing a win as possible.
Talking to Joel Lorenzi from the Oklahoman. Love having him on the show. Does a very good job of covering the Oklahoma City Thunder, not just here, but also goes on the road. So he just doesn't hang out on his couch and watch it. He goes and actually hangs out with him, which leads me to this point. Last night, Mark was very analytic about the loss. I thought that Shai and Dub, I liked Shai's attitude was somewhat like proof positive. Yeah, they lost, but looking forward to seeing what it does. You get to actually, kind of see them a little bit more than the average, even media person. Do you believe this, or is this a front that they're putting on?
As far as Shai goes, it's definitely not a front. I think that's generally how he is. Even when he's had stinkers and they've lost, which isn't often this year, I think generally it goes as, he described last night, where the first few minutes are the grim, and then after that, he's back to his sort of goofy self, and the world is back at his fingertips, because that's what it's been all year. I mean, he's been able to reel back. They didn't lose. They didn't lose 3 games straight, not once. And so, as far as Shai goes, that's not a front. And as far as I know Doug, the headline with Doug today after the post game was that his mannerisms, his comments, his Torian Prince impression that they suggest a lack of accountability. I think that's probably how he deals with the loss. I don't know. There's clearly not as much maturity there as there's with Shai. I mean, Shai is kind of in a class of his own on that front among the young guys, relatively young guys on the team. So as far as like the way their personalities came out, I don't think any of that was a fluke. I think every person showed you exactly who they were. And as far as the sprinkles of positivity that might have shown through in those comments, I think Shai himself really has no reason to believe that the world is crashing down if he has a say in it. Because I mean, even in the Dallas series last year, he did his thing. I mean, he gave them every chance possible to win. And, funny enough, the series, the play that ended that series was his foul, but he gave them every chance to win. So I don't think it was a front at all on their part. And as far as Caruso's comments and sort of reiterating those things, like, he's seen these things before. He's seen championship locker rooms. And so I believe Caruso when he said, I don't think anybody was fronting at all.
Now, Joel, this is another game where Shai didn't really have it outside of the first quarter, where he felt like he was like on one, but outside of that, just didn't have it for the rest of the game. Is this something that fans should be concerned about, or do you think that Shai is just missing shots that he normally takes?
I thought the last round especially was something that, that was when you could say he was missing shots he normally takes. I just thought that, I don't know, I just felt like yesterday, by Shai standards, was a fine game. Like, I thought the playmaking was probably the best part. I mean, he just made solid reads. Denver's shell was surprisingly good and tactical, and really was the reason that OKC lost those last few minutes. So I don't know. I think he's getting some of the looks he likes, and especially like the Hardenstein push shot was there so much of the night because of the connection of those two and Shai's understanding of, hey, well, if they're gonna overplay me, like I'm gonna have to dish it off right here. Almost like I'm scared to say this with you. It's almost like what Kobe used to do with Pal. Like the lateral.
Joel.
I'm not calling Hardenstein Pal. I'm just saying it's similar how they leverage each other.
You couldn't find anybody else. There's nobody else who's had chemistry like those two. God bless. Now I have to deal with this.
All right, shut it up, man. Listen. So I think Shai leverages playmaking really well. As far as the shot making, like it's just not loud yet. Like I thought a big difference that was clear from the jump was that he wasn't forcing the three. I mean, Denver gapped him maybe as much as any team. I don't know. I didn't think they did it any more or any less than any team. So he really could have chosen, like, hey, I'm going to shoot a couple pull-up threes here. But the ones he shot were timely, and one of them was to put them up 11 in the fourth. So I don't know. I just think his game wasn't super loud. It's pretty crazy because last year, I mean, he was shooting shots that nobody else was really taking, and they were falling from him at the same clip really that he shot all year. I think he's being more considerate and trying to leverage his playmaking a little bit. I mean, a couple of these games, they're just going to need him to score 35, it looks like, especially if J-Dub is going to look like how he did last night.
Talking to Joel Lorenzi from the Oklahoman. I need to get your perspective on this because Daniel saw it at the level that he sees it where the Thunder seat him. I saw it from way high up where the Thunder seat me. You were sitting there courtside. You saw this too. Both of us agreed that we didn't think that Jokic was playing very well. And then you look at the box and he has 20 points and 30 rebounds. Or, I'm going to say 20 rebounds and 30 points.
40.
And then, you get to the fourth. Then you get to the fourth quarter, and that's where he starts imposing his will. But through three quarters, it didn't look that good. At what point did you start to look down at the score sheet and look and was like, Jokic is having a historical game?
Yeah, the fourth for sure. Because for what it's worth, like I don't think I wanted to see this in the first half by Jokic standards, the Jokic rules. Like I thought the double teams were effective. I think, there was a lot of times that Caruso played great minutes. I mean, it's. I think among the worst parts of yesterday's loss was that they kind of wasted such a legacy game for Caruso. Like those are unbelievable minutes from him, all before his late foul. But with that being said, like first half, like when I thought a lot of the times when Jokic was trying to you're not gonna. His touch is incredible, so you're not gonna. A lot of the shots you think shouldn't go, like. He has 100 pounds on you, 50 pounds on you. He's going to get his touch off over you. He's going to move you. Like, those things you can't really do much about. But I thought when they wanted to crowd him, the timing of it, the direction it came from, like, Caruso so often was, like, at his shorts, like, ripping him and confusing him. Like, I thought they did well. The double teams were effective. It wasn't until the fourth quarter where, he's getting to the line. He shot 10 free throws in the fourth quarter. It's like, okay, Chet and Hardenstein, they're dealing with, 4 fouls and 5 fouls. Jokic had 5 fouls for a lot of that fourth quarter, but I don't think it was ever that crew's intention to take him out of the game. And so, like, it becomes this war between the lines, and I don't know how many people are winning a war between the lines with Jokic. And you look up, he has free throws, he has the touch shots that are, improbable but inevitable. And that was when I looked at him like, yeah, like he's doing it in this fourth, man.
And a surprise twist from last night, especially after this season, the Thunder lost the Shai minutes by 16 and won the non-Shai minutes by 14. Obviously, a lot more Shai minutes than there were non-Shai minutes, so it's easier to win those minutes. But as we've seen this season, they've lost a lot of games where they've lost, or a lot of minutes where they've lost when Shai was on the bench. What do you make of what it was last night?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to watch it back again. I haven't turned back the full game again. But, I mean, most notably, from what I remember, I'm pretty sure Caruso was in those lineups with the J-Dub-led lineups. That dude was incredible. Like I mentioned, like at one point, when everybody's a +7, +5, +3, he's like a +16.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That dude was insane. And the burst he had, I mean, like I said, 12 minutes, he had 5 steals already. Sorry, it's raining out here and cars are trying to splash water on me. The stretch he had where he had like 2 or 3 pick sixes in the quarter, it's I mean, you really that's why you brought him in, right? I mean, to think that Josh Giddey was in that dude's place a year ago, like, and they're getting this dude and he's in pick sixes, he's impactful in the coverage on Jokic. Like I thought he was probably the difference, and they turned a lot of turnovers to points early because of him. And I just pretty sure they'll just happen to be in the J-Dub lineups.
All right, and finally, we'll let you get in there and get dried off and ask about 10, 15 questions. Sam Presti, the executive of the year. Obviously, this is the year he did not draft Poku, so he gets more credit for that this year, what he did, as opposed to other years. What do you think about Sam Presti, executive of the year, I believe for the first time?
It is the first time. It's well deserved. I think it's hard to quantify that thing because they really only award it to an executive or decision maker when the fruits of your labor actually pay off. Like they're not giving him executive of the year the year after he drafts Chet and Dub. Like you have to see it happen. And for what it's worth, like he went out and got Hartenstein and Caruso in the summer. So I think it's well deserved. I mean, he clearly had the best summer. He's put the right pieces there, pressed the right buttons as far as the roster building. I'm not sure what more you can ask for. He's put the roster in front. I mean, all they have to do is age and make winning plays against a championship caliber team last night. I mean, we wouldn't even, I don't know that anybody's questioning him winning an award, but people wouldn't even have the inkling or the thought if last night didn't play out how it did. But he's put the pieces together to make it happen. So definitely well deserved, I think.
All right, great stuff. Super. Look, despite the guff we give you, I wouldn't give you guff if I didn't like it. So, good job, Joel.
I just don't.
Yes, sir. Yeah, ditto.
All right, go do your business, buddy, and make sure you take care of our girl Auburn too. All right.